brought up such a crazy point. Could you imagine in this new media world? And by the way, like I can see this too. If that man is acquitted, if that man is set free, that man could start a podcast, and you know what? It would probably do numbers. That's
Yeah.
the craziest thing about this whole world. Like that disgusting
Hmm.
man could literally start a podcast, and I would hope he would. Certain people don't know how to read the room. OJ was a perfect example. OJ did not care. This man was still on the golf course. He was still going out to clubs. He was still doing interviews, weird ass interviews. Like he was still doing his thing. And so certain people don't, especially a person like Diddy, where imagine having an ego so big that you don't know how to read the room because you are the room and you're used to being the room. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't put that past him. I would not. You and you know, America's a weird place, man. Like, not saying people would forgive him, but he would still have a fan base. He
I
was
mean, listen, I've seen some of the conversation and comments online. There is a community of people who are saying what you said before, where I don't see the crime. I don't see the crime. Sex trafficking, those girls decided to be there. Just because they came over state lines and it was quote unquote prostitution, it wasn't sex trafficking because they took the money and they did their business. That's not sex trafficking. So there is still a community of people, I wouldn't say that are Diddy fans, but are saying that he is
the Boosie types.
not right, like
Yeah.
exactly. That are pretty much, trying to say, listen, he's not really a criminal. He a freak, a big freak, but he's not a criminal. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I do think that if he decided to do something as crazy as start a podcast, and what's so crazy is, and again, as somebody who also doesn't, study law, but I do know that once you get tried for something, can't get tried again for the same crime.
Right, right.
So it's like if he were to get acquitted, he could go on there and start saying some nut ass shit. They can't charge him again. They can't charge him
Craziness.
again. So
He probably would feel
yeah,
he'd probably feel invincible. Like he probably would like, you know, despite everything that he feels like his family's going through and how much of a detriment it's been to him, he probably would walk out that courtroom and feel like he's on cloud nine and feel like nothing can stop him. No pun intended. You know what I'm saying? Like he would, and I just, you know, that because that's the play. Even if you know, this new media world, you know, even if he starts his own Twitter page, his own whatever page, his own website, whatever it may be, there's still a faction of people who would be wanting to. I just wonder if a corporate entity would invest and say, "Yo, we gotta sponsor it," because we know millions and millions of. Just if he just called it "Diddy presents the testimony, my testimony" type shit, it's gonna do numbers.
you know what I think is interesting, and it's something that just popped into my head. Where there's a lot of victims that are coming out,
Hmm.
mainly women who are talking about their interactions with Diddy. But we know that he also had relations with men.
Right.
And we know that a lot of the times when men are sexually assaulted, they do not come forward because of the scrutiny of, oh, you're gay, oh, you were molested by a man, whatever the case is. But there's a lot of damning evidence about the Usher, why he was so close to Usher when he was young, Justin Bieber. There was the whole audio that came out allegedly about him and Meek Mill.
Yeah.
And there's very high profile people that if the rumors are true, if they came out and gave their testimony, it would be damning evidence. It would be the end of it. Diddy would definitely get locked up. So my question is that, do you think that there's, outside of the obvious reason of, like, you don't want to go on the record and say that a man,
Yeah.
violated the shit out of you.
Right.
But other than that, do you think that there's other entities? Because again, Diddy was rubbing, shoulders with very powerful people, very, very, very powerful people,
Right.
right? Do you think that some of these people are being silenced?
I don't even think I don't. I wouldn't say silence. I think with what's the most alarming thing about this whole situation, in my opinion, is the fact that you can't get away with something like this without having a team on board and helping you
Right.
get away with this. So they may not have liked what was going on, but if you assist in him getting away with it, you are complicit in it, and you should feel a certain type of way. You should deal with some type of charges or deal with some type of consequences. Um, So I don't know if it's necessarily people who are, um, I just feel like not only do you have to question him, obviously he's the head of the snake, but you got to question where, like, you bodyguards, how far does this stretch? How far is the cover up? How many people participated in this cover up and protecting this man? Because listen, integrity really plays a big part in this. That's going to be the question. That's my position after this whole case is over with. Whether he gets locked up or he's a free man, you got to start looking around. Okay, well, who is protecting him, or who was the part of the entourage that was helping him during this period? What did they know? What
Yeah.
did they hide? What evidence did they get rid of? Did they participate in any of the abuse? Did they? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that's the most egregious part about this whole thing. Zay, you're finally with us. What's your point on this, sir?
Well, well, as far as him being able to bounce back, I don't think people are going to touch him with a 10 foot pole.
No, I don't think so. No, I mean, look at Bill Cosby. People are.
I don't think people are going to touch him with a 10 foot pole, brother, because people do not want to. Even if they're down with it themselves, they will disassociate themselves from individuals at least for a little while. He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to do. He's gonna like have to stay low for a little while, and then find another artist that's gonna kind of put him back on the map, and he's gonna start making a little noise, and then he'll be back to where he was at. But he's
Nah,
not coming straight out. He's not coming
nah.
straight out
No, you're
and
saying a little
straight
while. I think
balling
it's
again.
forever.
I'm telling
I
you.
think it's forever, bro. I don't think a little
Hmm.
while is enough. I think it's forever. I don't care what artist you find that. There's no once you. If I hear one take that on a record, I'm turning it off. I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like
No, but I'm talking about his connections. I'm talking about his connections and stuff like that. Then he's not gonna have that circle that he had before.
well, of
I'm
course
telling you,
not.
because
No.
everybody's not, regardless of whether he comes out, he's never gonna come out of this clean. First of all, there's no such thing as coming out of this clean. He won't do any jail time. He won't do any jail time, but and I'm not saying that he's not. I'm just saying if he gets out, right? But you still gonna have that tag on you.
Of
Doesn't matter.
course. Yeah, that's gonna be forever with him. I don't. But I don't. Here's my thing. Once again, you're saying he's gonna wait a while. There's no while. I think it's just like it's completely over. But once again, I do think there is an avenue, especially in this new world of media, where he can say, "All right, I didn't go on the stand, but here's a 7 episode podcast of my point of view," and there are some people that'll listen and say, you know what, he sounds sincere. I'm willing to forgive him, and let's move past it.